accomplishments in winning numerous speech contests at all levels in District 60 and 86 are truly remarkable. Audiences have described Harry as a passionate, dynamic, motivational, and enthusiastic speaker. He has earned a solid reputation for delivering unforgettable and memorable speeches. Now you know the caliber of speaker you're about to hear. You'll hear for yourself his passion, energy, and enthusiasm for sharing and, more importantly, for educating others to be the most engaged speakers possible. He's an honorary member of the Trillium T Toastmasters Club and a founding and charter member of the Voice of Experience Advanced Toastmasters Club, both in Mississauga, and he has traveled all the way to present this workshop to us, which we're really grateful for. He's a past president of the Humber Shores Toastmasters Club, past president of Burlington Advanced Toastmasters Club, and is currently a member of Applewood Achievers Toastmasters Club. He's presented workshops at the district and regional levels and conducted club officer training as well at the District 60 and 86, and is past chair of the District 60 Spring Conference, I guess just last year. Was that last year?
No, not
a little while back.
A little while back.
So without further ado, let's please welcome Harry and Sarah for his workshop, Connect to Communicate.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm gonna get some mood lighting for this.
Yeah. There we go. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. How are you? What a joy it is for me to be here. Thank you very much, Matt, for your kind introduction. Yes, I am a Toastmaster, been a Toastmaster for many years. And I love the program because it works. And the reason it works is that you make it work. Give yourself time to make it work, and you'll get excellent results. So I'm here to conduct a very simple workshop that, sorry, let's go back. Oh my. Oh dear. There we go. Connect to communicate. Connect to communicate. What words come into your mind? What thoughts come into your mind when you see that heading? Connect to communicate. Anyone, just yell it out.
Eye contact.
Eye contact? Okay, what else? Good one.
Connecting.
I'm sorry?
Connecting.
Connecting, how?
Communication.
How? What would you do?
Body language.
Body language. What else? Yes.
Empathy.
I'm sorry?
Empathy.
Empathy. Oh, you're my friend, James. I love it. Empathy. Why does that work? You're right.
I guess it works because you're thinking about what the other person's thinking about.
Absolutely. What else? Connect. Connect. Yes.
Facial expression.
Facial expressions. All of these things help you communicate and connect with the audience. Now think.
Oh, little technical difficulty there. It seems to have locked. Maybe it was timed out.
The battery was low, I think.
Did it say battery low?
It's plugged in.
It is not plugged in,
Oh,
actually.
okay.
Do you have a full battery or here, I'll just grab your
I have.
adapter?
Yeah, it's right there. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah.
Or on the side.
Here. On the inside.
There you go. Okay. Sorry about that, friends.
Nothing we can't solve.
That power bar should
Yeah.
be right there.
Excellent. So, not sure why the signal's not on. I guess it reboots. It's establishing a connection.
Establish a connection.
Now we're going to test you.
That's right. That's right.
Do the
He said establishing a connection. He doesn't have to write the test after. All of you do. You're exempt, Tyson.
So I guess you'll have to log in.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
That's okay. Hopefully it'll just be open and you can get it going.
There we are.
Okay, sorry about that, folks. So the workshop, you connect to communicate. Now think about it. In your lives, in your careers, how many of you have given a presentation or something and you really connected with your audience? How many of you did that? And how did it feel? Yes, go ahead.
It felt satisfying.
Why? Why?
Because obviously I resonated with the audience and they had something to take away. from it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good. How many of you didn't quite connect? How did it feel?
Tense, nervous.
Tense, nervous, exactly. Okay, so the whole idea, when you make the connection, we talk about what? We talk about the audience. You're the audience, right there, that word. And that fact, my friends, is something I want you to take to the bank. The single most important element in any communication process is the audience. Matt is a real estate agent. Who's his audience? A buyer, perhaps. I'm a teacher. Who's my audience? My students. You're a doctor. Your audience? Patients. So when someone says, I'd like you to speak, I'd like you to give a presentation, don't think of the presentation, think of that word right there. Your audience. Most important of any communicating process. Okay. And how important is it? Of the 10 tips, and this is a fact, out of the 10 tips that you'll see that have to do with successful public speaking, 5 deal with the audience. Toastmasters magazine, and it's true. What are the other 5? Stay tuned. I'll let you know what they are. What do we mean by the audience? Very, very simple. Keep that in the back of your mind. Let's define our terms. What is an audience? You have to know what we're talking about, right? A collectivity of individuals in a communicative setting sharing common interests. You're the audience. Let's see what that means. Individuals. You're all individuals. Absolutely. You're free thinking. You're here for a purpose. Sharing common interests. What are those interests? What are those interests, Faye? What do you think those common interests are?
In this room?
In this room?
Yeah, to become a better public speaker.
To become a better public speaker, to become a better presenter, to get rid of the butterflies, to get rid of the nervousness, to show some empathy, to concentrate on the eye contact, to get your gestures alive. Absolutely. So, it's fair to say, my friends, that we're all here for one common purpose. We share common interests as member of the Deer Park Toastmasters Club. Otherwise, respectfully, you wouldn't be here. You'd probably be at home watching the Leafs play or something, or some of that other news that's going around. No, I'm not a Leaf fan, so I just threw that up. That's terrible of me. Yeah, so that's our audience. Okay, so when we talk about connecting, okay, right there, number 1. The ability to relate person to person with an audience of any size. And number 2, the process of engaging people's hearts and minds. Now, why do you think I put the word any in capital letters? Any ideas why I capitalized that one word? Yell it out.
Well, a lot of people think it's.
I'm sorry?
A lot of people think it's different for a large audience.
Okay, you're on the right track. So why? Can you dig a little deeper? You're right.
There's more of them, so they're scarier.
Ah, I love it! There's more people, that scares me more. Excellent answer. Any audience. Let's get one myth out of the road. If I can talk to Faye, I can talk to 1,000,000 Fays. If you put numbers up here, you're going to get distracted. So when I say audience of any size, it's true. You can speak to one person, you can speak to an audience of 100. It's no secret, and there's no magic touch. What we do, erroneously, is say, gosh, I've got 60 people looking at me. They want me to give a presentation in front of 200. Sure, do it. Do it. Don't let the numbers bother you. Concentrate on why you're there, concentrate on your purpose, and you relate person to person. So that if I'm speaking to 500 people, I'm going to look at Tyson right in his eye and I'm going to talk to him. That's the individuality between Tyson and myself. And then I sweep the room and I go from left to right or right to left. Okay? Person to person. Because the audience, even though there's a mass of 100, they're individuals. And when you treat them as individuals, you realize success. You engage people's hearts and minds. What do I mean by that? What do I mean by engaging someone's heart and mind? Any ideas? Matt?
Well, you're probably appealing to their reasoning,
Okay?
but also something that strikes at their emotion.
Absolutely. So the mind, okay, is the reason why I'm here. The heart, look, and James said it, bang on, empathy. Okay? We're breathing human beings. We have feelings. We have senses. We have likes. We have dislikes. It's true. We're all individuals. And yet somehow, if I tug at your heartstring, if I tug at Sergi's heartstring or Dong's, he's going to make a connection between him and I. So what I'm doing is I'm engaging, right, the people's hearts and minds. That's very important. We're going to come to that in a moment. Okay? So what's your mission? You're a speaker. What do you do? Well, the first thing you do is you have to identify a set of attitudes belonging to the audience. That's called an audience analysis. I'm going to come back to that because that's very, very important. The second point is the structure. When I've identified my attitudes, I structure my presentation to those particular attitudes. Now I'm connecting. And the third one is I connect before, during, and after the speech. I came into this room, who did I meet? Matt. I spoke to him over the phone, we sent emails. The connection is already made. It's made, and we're going to actually enliven that more by our communication and by our interpersonal skills and discussing the reason why I'm here. So when I say you connect before, during, and after the speech, it's true. I greeted everyone coming in. I have an idea about your club, what you've accomplished. I know a lot of members are maybe here for 1, 2, maybe 3 years. I know James. I connected with James. I know his parents quite well. That's the idea of connecting with the audience. And you, my friends, as a speaker, have an obligation to connect with members of the audience. It's very, very important. When I say you structure the presentation, my audience analysis will tell me what you want. For example, if I go up to, let's say, Dong or James or Akash, and I say, I've got some engineers in that room. Talk to them about building a bridge. And I walk away. Right? I just killed the poor man. Right? I gave him nothing. Absolutely nothing. Because now he's going to start asking questions. Who are these engineers? What do they want to know? Who are they? What should I tell them? But if I say to Cash, I've got some first-year engineering students, and they want to know A, B, C, and D. Now he's going to think, okay, I'm not going to talk to first-year engineering students the way I would to an engineer with 30 years experience. Not going to happen. So, what Akash has to do is structure the presentation based on the audience analysis. Right? That's the key. You base your thoughts on the audience. That way you are in fact saying, I've analyzed my audience. This is what they want to hear. What's an audience analysis? Very simple. The process of discovering as much as possible about an audience in order to create a message. So that when someone, and I hope you do in the future, accept an invitation to speak, okay, the first thing is your mind, who is my audience? My friends, respectfully, it's up to you to find out that information. Don't make any assumptions. Ask the host or the hostess. Ask the organizers. Ask the association, okay? I want to discover as much as I can about the audience. Believe me, it will go much smoother when you know the background of your listeners. You know who they are. Sergey is from, I'm going to assume, one of the European countries. Ukraine. Agash is from India. Dong had a Toastmaster experience in Germany. Right? All this, it comes in your favor because you're recognizing the abilities and the successes of audience members, and, my friends, you're discovering as much as you can. So take it from me. When we read about authors and professional speakers, the number one thing they're going to tell you is that perform an audience analysis of your listeners. It's not rocket science. It's actually quite easy to do. It's not time consuming. Now with the social media and the space age, you can find out about anybody across the world in a matter of seconds, which is true. But my friends, this step should never, never be overlooked. Okay, before the speech, my strategic 6. My friends, under no circumstances should any of these steps be eliminated. Under no circumstances, eliminated or omitted. It's the strategic 6. Who is my audience? I asked, excuse me, Matt. He said, we're Toastmasters, we meet so at this place, and they're young, they're maybe inexperienced, but they're eager. I said, good. Okay, what do they want? What do they need to know? Find that out as a speaker. Where am I speaking? He said, Deer Park Library, maybe the second, maybe the first floor. When am I speaking? Nighttime, daytime, afternoon? Why do they want to listen to me? And how do I accomplish my goals? The strategic 6, my friends, is something you should never omit. It's essential. It's incumbent upon you as a speaker to find out, and that is very, very simple to do. I guarantee that once you find and do your homework about this before the speech, you will be much more pleased with yourself and your successes. Again, before the speech, certain things, although this list is by no means, conclusive. Values, expectations of your audience. The gender ratio, perhaps previous knowledge of a topic, ethnicity, cultural background, average age and age range. These are just 5 points. There are dozens others, okay? But, for example, ethnicity, I know there are people in this room of different ethnic and cultural backgrounds. That's a plus. That's a plus for you and it's a plus for them because Ashak and others have been Toastmasters in other countries. Don is familiar with Toastmasters in Germany. So this is getting acquainted with your audience. It's not rocket science, friends, but it's something that you must do. Do not omit that step. Okay, in Toastmasters, there's 2 types of speeches. There's a speech that's centered, right, which simply outlines the speaker's perception and lists his or her points. Right? The world is round, the sky is blue, the grass is green, milk is white or brown. That's simple as that. The audience center reflects the needs and concerns of the audience. So what you do, in fact, incorporate both. The most powerful messages integrates both. Something that's speech-centered, which could be your views, which is fine how you feel, but then take into consideration the audience and reflecting their concerns. So that if someone says they'd like to hear a presentation on how to fly to the moon, right? Tyson will say, okay, I know how to tell you how to fly to the moon, right? Now, he created a bond with the audience. And creating a bond with the audience is essential. How would you do that? You could tell a story. That's both the best. Tell a story, personal experience, things like that really work and really work well. Okay, your audience analysis is complete. I did my audience analysis, you did yours. You know who your speakers are, you know who your topic is. Now, you got to start connecting. And there's 3 ways to do it. Remember I said the mind and the heart? Right there. Intellectual rapport. Challenge the mind. Emotional rapport. Touch the heart. Comical rapport. Tickle the funny bone. So you got seriousness. You got things that tug on the heartstrings. And if you can add a little bit of humor, so be it. It works. That's your connecting. When I say challenge the mind, what do you think some things that you might challenge the mind? Give me a topic. Anybody have an idea when I say challenge the mind?
Artificial intelligence.
Okay, artificial intelligence, yes. Yeah, anything else? Any other ideas? I can say, you know what? The sky is green and the grass is blue. Don't see. You're nuts. You're crazy. Yeah, maybe I am. What I'm going to do, though, is challenge Don's mind, and he's going to say, you know, Harry, I don't agree with you, but you challenged me to think. That's all you want, my friends, as a speaker. Take it from me. When you get off the stage, and someone comes up to you and says, you know, Harry, I don't agree with you, but you challenged my mind. Put that in your pocket and leave it there for the rest of your life. That's the best evaluation you can ever receive from anyone. So when you speak on a topic, don't think, oh, God, what if they don't agree with me? What if they're opposed to my argument? Good! Ask yourself, am I challenging your mind to think some way? And you walk out and you say, yeah, I don't agree with Faye, but you know, she kind of challenged me to think. That's all you want as a speaker. Touch the heart. We're flesh and blood, right? People like stories. They like down-to-earth stories. Some of them are sad, unfortunately, some of them are happy. Don't be afraid to touch someone's heart with your story. Something that happened to you. Not theoretical, not hypothetical, it happened to you. I hope it's happy. Sometimes they're sad. What can you do? I touched the heart 10 years ago, 2013. I lost 3 things in my life. I lost my mother, I lost my cat, and I lost my job. All in 2013. It was a terrible year. However, did I use it as a speech? I could have, but I didn't. If I wanted to, I could have said how obviously I'm close to my mother, my cat killed by a car, my job. They said, no, that's enough. So what do? Touch the heart. Tickle the funny bone. Humor is good, but let me give you a little hint. Right? Humor is no laughing matter, as someone once said. You gotta be careful. If you're gonna use humor, use it well. And one little saying I'm going to leave you with, when in doubt, leave it out. When in doubt, leave it out. You got to be careful here, my friends, when it comes to humor. It's good, but if you're not sure about it, don't use it. So, now you're connecting with the audience. Ralph Smedley, our founder, said, speak as though the audience was sitting right beside you, as I'm doing with you. You're my audience. I'm not lecturing to you. I'm standing right beside Faye, and I'm talking to her, and Sergi, and Don, and everyone else. That's the key. Speak as if they're sitting right beside you. Yes, it's a formal speech, but have a conversation. And sometimes the formalities get a little too stiff, and it doesn't break the ice. Simply have a conversation with your audience. Matt, if he's in real estate, he's going to have a conversation with his client. A teacher with the student. Whatever your profession is. Sometimes, yes, you have to be proper, agreed. But just have a conversation as if someone was sitting beside you. Be surprised how that ice is broken. And it really means a lot. Okay, now before the speech, you did your homework, you have your audience analysis. Now it's during the speech. Right? You wooed them. I brought you in. Now you gotta wow them. And how do you do that? Very, very easily. A lot of ways. Participate. Make the connection. I'm talking to you. I asked Faye a question. I asked James a question. We're having a conversation. That works. Keep that informal conversation going. Right? Involvement. When you have involvement, you have interaction. People interact with you. They feel at ease, they feel calm, and that's important. When you have a conversation, you create a bond. It's that simple. You create a bond because it's easy, it's not difficult, it's not stiff, and that's important. And you deliver, you inspire. There's my favorite word right there. Inspire an audience to go above and beyond, and it works. Okay, my 5 ways you want to connect with your audience. They work, I believe in them. Look at that one. Number 1, establish rapport, not report. What do I mean by that? Any ideas? What do I mean by that?
Well, I'm thinking of the situations where someone's doing a lecture or a talk and they're just sort of reading a report.
Thank you, Sue. Exactly. Anybody can stand up and take a report and say, page 3, paragraph 4, speech number 3, 4. Page 5, paragraph 6, subsection 4, regulation 2A. It's a report. Are you going to remember it? Probably not. Rapport. Establish the rapport with people. Right? It helps and it works. Anybody can read a report, but the report is more personal. And that personality, your personality, use it. It's you. And it's going to be you for the rest of your life. Nobody can change it. Nobody can change it unless you want to change it. But the rapport is really important. Look at number 2. Be yourself. I've had people say, gee, Harry, I'd like to be like you. Don't be like me. Be better than me, number 1. And be yourself. What works for you as an individual? What are your strengths? What would you like to tell people about you? Be yourself. Right there. Believe in your message. As I said, don't worry if people disagree. Do you believe it? Is it sincere? Are you sincere about your message? Fine. Then say it. Right? Say it. As long as there are no derogatory remarks, as long as you're not insulting, as long as you use humor that might be a little racy, okay. Believe in your message. Stay with it. Right? I believe our taxes in Toronto are too low. My taxes should be higher. I think I should be paying $50,000 more in taxes. Okay. People look at me and say, what? Believe in your message. If you believe it, give me some ammunition. Give your audience ammunition about your message. Yeah, they're going to disagree with you, that's true. But as long as you make them think, that's all you want as a speaker. Wow, he made me think. Never, never, never get sidetracked about your message. Stay with it. Right? Let them in. Win their trust. Take down the barriers. Take down the walls. Talk to people and respect them. You need no walls. You don't need barriers. I can stand here. I can mingle with Sergi and Tyson and Matt, James, and talk all night. And they'll talk to me, and I'll be a better human being because we are having a conversation. Win their trust. Let them win your trust. You'll be a better Toastmaster. And there's my ace in the hole right there. Number 5. A speech without passion is a speech without power. Be passionate. Believe in yourself. Right? It's something that I park in my pocket every speech I've given. I'm passionate because I believe it. I want you to try to adopt that same passion because it works. And when you get off that stage, you'll say, wow, that felt good. And you have a smile on your face. It's the best feeling in the world. Take it from me. It really is. Okay, you've connected before and during. Now, after the speech, is everything finished? Can you go home and have a drink or have a beer or have a good meal and go to bed and forget about it? Nope. Feedback. After the speech. It can be direct, immediate, and it's essential for self-improvement. So that feedback might be negative in a way, but it's something for you to build on. So take it, appreciate it, because evaluations help. Inasmuch as I may be an experienced speaker, I'm always learning. I'm always trying to think of what my evaluator said, and I try to incorporate that into my speaking profile. Right? Your confirmation as a respectable speaker is acknowledged after the speech. Like I said, they'll come up to you and shake your hand and say, thank you. I didn't agree with you, but thank you. And I have 3 specific examples. I gave a speech when my father landed in Canada in 1926. Okay? And I used that speech. Years ago in Toastmasters, we had what we call the Canada Speech Contest. And I entered that contest. I was a brand new Toastmaster. I hadn't even given an icebreaker. And Bruce went from my club in Mississauga, Trillium. He says, Harry, would you like to enter a Canada speech contest? I said, okay. Just like that. Had no idea what the Canada speech contest was, had no idea what Toastmasters was. But I said, okay. I gave that Canada speech, and it was judged #1 in Canada. And I went to Ottawa on Parliament Hill, January the 1st, 1993, and I gave that speech. It's very near to me and dear to me. Why? Because I spoke about my father's trial and problems when he came to Canada. And even though I say that, I still get, you know what I said, it will touch the heart? And the second speech is I gave about the 5 R's. Reading, writing, arithmetic, but there should be 2 more, respect and responsibility. And I spoke about the lack of respect in a lot of schools today, the young people. And someone came up to me and said, you know, Harry, thank you very much. My son's in high school, Larry. I really enjoyed what you said. I said, thank you. What am I doing? I'm connecting after the speech. It works, my friends. So don't ever think that because you step off the stage, that's the end of it. That is the beginning of your life and your history as a speaker. After the speech, all kinds of things begin in your favor. Connecting does not end. Your connections create credibility. They create credibility because the audience, time after time, will come to recognize Tyson and James as a credible speaker. Think about it. Your credibility. No nonsense. You're there. They'll hear you once. They'll hear you twice. They'll hear you 3 times. That's the key. I was at the Living Arts Center in Mississauga taking in a show. And I'm speaking to a friend. Lady comes up behind me. She says, I know that voice. That's Harry. I turned around. She says, you're a Toastmaster. I said, yes. She says, I heard you speak. I says, when? She says, 1995 in Orangeville. I said, that's right, I was there. After the speech, my friends, your credibility. It never, never ends. Don't let it end. Create that credibility, connecting with the audience before, during, and after the speech. What are the 5 other tips? I said there were 5. Know your material. Don't guess. Don't ad-lib. Table topics is good, absolutely. But if you're going to do a speech, know your material as much as you can. Oh, there's a big one right there. Practice, practice, and practice. Years ago, we had a mirror. We still have a mirror. We had a cassette tape recorder, and I used to take my voice and listen to it. Practice as much as you can. Use any mode that works for you. But practice. Sincere rehearsals mean a lot. Again, concentrate on your message. Don't worry if the audience doesn't agree with you. Concentrate on your message and stick with it. Stay with it. Don't say maybe, should I? No, I can't say this. Will I? Should I? They won't agree with me. Stay with your message. Right? It's called mental energy management. MEM. Mental energy management. That's discipline. That's mental discipline. And I'll tell you, it's not easy to come by, but it works. Concentrate on your message. Well, here's one that people agree or disagree with. Should you relax? Should you? Yes or no? Yes. Or should you always be? What do you think, Sergi?
Yes.
Why? Why should you relax?
If you relax it, you can just be more concentrated and just listen to arguments and find some words to answer.
Good answer. Do you agree?
I would say passion means you gotta be up.
You gotta be up. Why do I want to relax? My friends, there are 2 sides of this coin. Relax, don't relax. Now some people have said, gee, Harry, when you stand on the stage, you seem passionate. How do you do it? I said, like any hockey player or like any athlete, before they hit the court or they hit the ice, this starts to work, and it works overtime. But something happens when I stand on the podium and I give a speech, it's funny. All of that dissipates. And it's true. And I want you to experience that feeling. I want you to experience standing on the stage and all of a sudden, as I said, if you're 1 or 1,000, don't worry about it. Do what brought you there, as they say in the vernacular. So yeah, it works. So relax. It works. That's up to you. Be persuasive. Convince me. I'm going to convince you why my taxes should be 100% higher. Can I? Should I? Yes, I can. You might not agree, but I want to be persuasive. That's what I want to do. So again, one of the hallmarks of being a speaker, Toastmaster, is stick to your guns. Stick to your guns. Have faith in yourself as a speaker. And don't say, no, I can't. Never, 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 never change your mind. Stay with it. If you believe in your topic and you feel that my taxes have to be 1,000,000% higher, then say it. Stay with it. If you believe it, stay with it. It helps you as a speaker. It really does. Here's my helpful hints. There's my information there. Please feel free to contact me at any time. I'll be very happy to help you in any one of these how to win at table topics. How to deliver electrifying evaluations. I've done workshops on evaluations, how to evaluate a speech. 10 top speech making techniques, that's very important. Now there are hundreds, but I have a top 10 list. Right? How to unleash your inside forces, there's a good one. What do you mean? What do I mean by that? Can anyone tell me? What do I mean by that? How to unleash your inside forces. What do I mean by that? Inside forces.
Well, I'd go back to the word passion, but
Okay.
there's lots more than that.
And yeah,
Faith,
Confidence.
confidence,
mental energy management.
mental energy management.
Good.
My friends, everything comes from the inside out. Everything. As a speaker, you say, right here, from the inside out. Right? Unleash it. Let go. I think my taxes should be $1,000,000. That's my passion. Someone will say you're crazy, you're cuckoo, maybe. But I believe what I said from the inside out, right? Emotion, passion, feelings, humor, gestures come from the inside, right? And how to deliver a great toast, if you'd like to know how to deliver a toast and what's involved. So my friends, there's all my contact information. Please feel free to call me at any time. I'll be very happy to offer you any assistance, any little tidbits I can on these topics or any other topics. I'm sure you can get it from Matt and this Toastmasters Club. Please understand that I'm available at any time. You want some assistance in this or any other topics, all you have to do is pick up the phone, and I'll be very, very happy to help you. My friends, I thank you very much for listening.
I know you have to head off to
In a few minutes, yeah.
obligations shortly. He's going out to pick someone up at the airport, which is always nice to be welcomed at the airport. I just thought maybe we could take a few minutes and just see if our audience has any questions
Absolutely.
for you based
Absolutely.
on what you presented today. Did anybody?
Any questions
thoughts
about
or
this or
questions?
any topic about speaking, I'll be very happy to answer any questions, or if you have a comment, please, I'm here for you.
Well, I'll give positive feedback. You definitely earn your credentials. Very good speech.
Thank
Very
you.
good.
Thank you very much. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, your name?
Eliomar.
And Johanna?
Eliomar.
And Johanna, nice to meet you, yes.
I would love to see you like delivering a speech
Why?
for us, because I definitely had thought like it's impressive.
Would you like to hear a speech now?
Well, you know, one of the things that we have is a break and announcements and then table topics, but I think you might have to head out by then. We're actually ahead of schedule, so we'll definitely have a table topics opportunity.
I can give you a 5-minute speech if you wish.
Oh, wow.
There we go.
I can do it
What
right
does
now
everybody
if you
say?
like,
Yeah.
if you wish.
Okay, absolutely.
Sure.
So, what, do you have a name of the speech so I can give a proper?
I'm gonna go back to the one I gave 30 years ago.
Oh, okay.
That was my Canada speech contest.
Oh, cool.
Okay?
That's a good.
Harry and Sarah, Canada Speech Contest. Harry and Sarah.
Canada, I hardly know you. If I were to ask you to give me a definition of what a Canadian is, I'd have a variety of definitions. And I would not be in a position to argue with the authenticity or the sincerity of your words. Yes, we're all Canadian, but what does it mean to be a Canadian? Being a Canadian doesn't mean walking around with the Canadian flag on your knapsack. Doesn't mean wearing a Canadian hat. Doesn't mean traveling to other countries with a Canadian flag. Being a Canadian means understanding and realizing the plights of others. Don't really regionalize your sense of Canadianism. Be a Canadian from coast to coast to coast. Why is it when people stand, they say, I'm from, yes, Winnipeg. I'm from Toronto. I'm from Newfoundland. Guess what? We're all Canadians. Whether you wear a white collar, a blue collar, or no collar at all. Being a Canadian means sympathizing with the East Coast fisherman who comes home empty-handed because the catch of the day wasn't there. It means sympathizing with a Western rancher whose crops were completely destroyed by Mother Nature. It means sympathizing with a Canadian worker with 50 years experience who goes home and the boss says, I'm sorry, I have to lay you off because I can't pay you anymore. Being a Canadian is what you feel in your heart for other Canadians that might not be as fortunate as you, showing some empathy, showing some sympathy. In 1926, a 16-year-old boy sailed from Lebanon to Canada. He landed at Halifax, Nova Scotia. He got on a train, and he was to go from Halifax, Nova Scotia to North Bay, Ontario. That 16-year-old boy had no idea what was going on. And he sat there with his mother. Didn't know English, didn't know French. All he had was a sign around his neck saying North Bay, Ontario. He left his native Beirut. He sailed from Beirut to Marseille, France. From Marseille, France to Halifax, Nova Scotia. Took him about 2.5 months, and now he's on a train. And that 16-year-old boy memorized one word, North Bay. North Bay. So every time the train stopped, he would jump up and try to run the length of the train and find the conductor and say, North Bay? North Bay? A conductor would sit him down, kind of shake his head, no, we're not there. And the train would continue. And it would stop again. And the 16-year-old boy would jump up and run the end of the train and look for the conductor and say, North Bay? North Bay? Sit him down. And this happened after the third and the fourth and the fifth stop. Finally, the conductor, in a fit of rage, grabbed him by the scruff of the neck, sat him down, and said, don't bother him anymore. When we get to North Bay, I will tell you. And there he sat, with tears streaming down his face. He finally made North Bay with his mother. And that was the beginning of a relationship with this country that was to last for 50 years. Because you see, that 16-year-old boy was my father. And little did he know where he was going. He came from a small town by the Lebanon-Israeli border to North Bay, Ontario, 10 feet of snow, 30 below zero. Later on he would say, son, I learned very quickly. I grew up because I had to. I learned and listened from other Canadians who were here in 1926 because as a 16-year-old boy, I knew nothing. So we taught each other until I learned the language, until I could help them, and they could help me. And he says, I grew up in this country and I raised 4 kids and I had a business. and I was active in the community because I believe in what Canada is for me, that I could help somebody and somebody could help me in return. He says, isn't that the point of being a good citizen? Isn't that the point of being a good Canadian? Just helping each other out and expecting nothing in return except perhaps a handshake or maybe a smile. So be true to your country. And if somebody raises a fist, extend your open hand instead. And that person might just become your friend. So if it's Canada, be true to your country. Love Canada, help Canada, and Canada will help you.
Well, that was a bonus. Thanks for sharing that
My
speech,
pleasure.
as we know how close to your heart it is. Explain to us. That's fantastic. So Alan, did you bring along a certain something? Great, wonderful. I'd like to, on behalf of our club, give you a little what we call Toastmasters bling as a thank you for coming out, sharing your time, sharing your expertise, and of course
Thank you.
your speech.
Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. It wasn't necessary. I'd love to come back on one condition: do not give me any gifts. If I come back again, I'll come because I'd like to maybe give you some information. Thank you. I will cherish it. These gifts come from the heart. I know it. And I had a wonderful time. I do apologize. I do have to leave. But as I said, you have my contact either through Matt or there.
Yeah, I can share that.
Share that, please,
Make
with my
sure
email.
we might have you back for one of those other workshops. that
I'll
you
be
teach.
happy to give you any type of workshop. Tabletops is my favorite. Evaluations are good. You're a young team. You're a young team of Toastmasters. And if I can help you on the way, I'd like to help you on the way. And I'm not trying to be a philosopher here, my friends. And I'm not trying to lecture you. But understand, being a Toastmaster, it's a journey. And it's a long journey. It's not going to happen overnight. It didn't happen for me overnight, and I'm still learning from those far better than I am. So give yourself time, and don't be hard on yourself. Give yourself a good effort. Don't be hard on yourself. It'll come. It'll get there. But understand what you want to accomplish. Okay? You can go into the field with 1,000 thoughts in your mind, but be specific. Narrow it down. Would you like to be a better speaker? A comedian, perhaps? How about tabletopics? Maybe an evaluator. Maybe you want to excel at grammarian or the word of the day. Or maybe a Toastmaster host, right? The MC. Narrow it down. Know what you want to do and follow it. Because sometimes you bite off a big chunk and things kind of get lost. But if I can be of any help at any time, please feel free to contact me. Again, from me to you, thank you very, very much.